All right. All right. I think we're good to go. So let me get my script. It is indeed recording, and we have everything. I have the questions. Yes, I do. I have also have the timer. All right. I think we're good to go. I'll keep an eye on the hand just in case anyone else wants to raise their hand to speak. Also, another thing, if you do ask a question and you only ask it in chat, I'm going to be switching through different tabs and stuff to make sure that the debate runs well, so I probably won't see it. If you want to ask a question, raise your hand so that I will definitely see it. But without further ado, good morning, afternoon, or evening, and Happy New Year still to the folks in the Western Hemisphere. Welcome to the Diamond Chronicler's January 2026 Chancellor Debate. I'm your host, JPS.me. Today, I'm joined by 5 candidates representing distinct electoral tickets vying for Chancellor this coming Sunday. The candidates need no introduction, since ideally they've been campaigning on this last day before polls open. But just to familiarize the unfamiliar in the audience, we have, in alphabetical order, Senator Brain Goes Vincent of Floribus running as an independent, Senator Gatto Cat Zero of Craftsburg running on, or yes, of Craftsburg, also of Cambria, running on the Imperial Progress Party ticket, Pope Joe the Troll of Anor Londo X running on the Business Development Party ticket, Chancellor Old Era Story running on the Federal Social Democratic Union ticket, and Head of Builds and King Somebody underscore 228 of Carpathia running as an independent. And if my microphone isn't working well or you can't hear me, please holler and tell me as soon as possible. But thank you. So thank you to each of you for dedicating part of your day today to this debate. We do appreciate it here at the Diamond Chronicler. It is worth stating up front that every candidate except Era is running for Chancellor. As Year 9, the FSDU's pick for Chancellor, couldn't make it to this debate at this time. So Era, who is As Year 9's running mate, is participating in his stead. So, as for how this debate will go, the candidates will be asked a series of questions covering a range of topics involving IF politics. This debate is unrehearsed, meaning none of the questions put to the candidates were made known to them beforehand. The debate will consist of 2 parts. In the first part, questions will come from me, the moderator, and for each question that is directed to all the candidates, each candidate will have 20 seconds to respond, and for each question that is directed to a particular candidate, that candidate will have 30 seconds to reply, and the other candidates will then have the choice of taking up to 20 seconds to make a rebuttal. In the second part of the debate, questions will be asked by the candidates themselves. For each question that is asked to multiple candidates, each candidate will have up to 20 seconds to reply. For each question that is asked to one particular candidate, they will have 30 seconds to reply, and I may, at my discretion, allow for rebuttals. During both parts of the debate, however, we invite you, the audience member, to raise your hand on this stage channel and ask any relevant, appropriate questions that you have for the candidates. We value our readers here at the Diamond Chronicler, so if there's a question that hasn't been asked yet that you think needs to be asked, we invite you to raise your hand. With that said, before we begin, we'd like to thank this debate's sponsors, the state of Carpathia. This debate is generously sponsored by the great state of Carpathia. Glory to Carpathia. This debate is also generously sponsored by Cambrian Goat's Cheese. With that out of the way, we'll begin this debate with opening statements from the candidates, each of which will last 1 minute. The order in which they will go was determined randomly. The order in which they will go was determined randomly. Sorry, I lost my track. And the first name chosen was Joel the Troll. So Joel, your 1 minute begins now.
For opening statements, correct?
Yes.
All right. Let's be honest. I think all the candidates will agree. The economy it needs energy. We're bringing forward a very low barrier stimulus for both businesses and individuals. The plan is to cut the red tape, put money back into the pockets of our people, and make growth happen as fast as we possibly can. I want to say that strong leadership and the real results that we can provide, and to be clear, we're gonna get money to every person irrelevant to, and I think this is important due to the controversy
And
surrounding us.
thank you,
Oh,
Joel. That
time.
was your
Perfect.
1 minute. The next person who was randomly chosen was Gato Cat Zero. So Gato Cat, your 1 minute begins now.
Hello? Okay, mic check. Okay. So I'm running with the Imperial Progress Party, and we'd like to unite the states of the IF because I think at the moment, I think a lot of people would agree, it's not really a federation. It's just a loose group of states that send senators to one thing. If we want the federation to be a success, it's already a success. But if we want it to be a great success, we need to get more people engaged. We need to get the states engaged in federation activities such as Glenda, because that could have been done months ago if the states had helped instead of just relying on a few people. Also, we need to focus on new friend retention. The only way the IF is going to grow is if we retain our new friends. There's no point recruiting 100 new friends a day if all of them leave within a week. We need to actually train our new friends to make sure they can play a part. So we could train some of the new friends in defense, get them help gear, train some of them in infrastructure,
And thank
make
you,
sure that we can.
Gato Cat. That was your 1 minute. All right. And the next person who is randomly chosen is Era. So, Era, your 1 minute begins now.
Hello, I'm Era Story. I am going to be running for the Vice Chancellor under FSDU, as your with is going to be Chancellor. Our main priorities are focusing on defense, economy, and reforming some of the government documents and departments to make sure that they actually function as intended. Currently, departments and a lot of other things are lacking the proper support to get them done. We're hoping to have better payment for IF citizens to actually like incentivize people working on them. This includes working on defense. A really big thing right now is the Glenado complex dig, and it is very close to getting done. So we're hoping to help provide jobs and stimulate the economy with jobs, and also get the government moving in the right direction that way. That's it.
All right, thank you. And the next person, well, the last person on the list, of course, is Zombie. I'll just refer to you as Zombie because I believe that's the name that other people recognize you as. Your 1 minute. I didn't miss anyone, did I?
Me?
Oh, Enkidu.
Well, I can go right. I can go right after. No
Okay.
worries.
Oh, that is entirely my fault. Goddamn. Okay, my bad. All right. Well, actually, well, you were randomly you were supposed to be to have gone second. So, um, Enkidu, go ahead and go. Your 1 minute begins now.
Okay, yeah. I'm Brain Minted. Going independent. My main three focuses on this campaign is one, teach all the people in the IF how to make shops, because I don't think people from the IF should go all the way to Pavia to buy things that we can start making here, homegrown stuff. Second, uh, I also believe we do need to be more close together. Like one of the other people running said, we are just like a couple nations in a trench coat, basically. We need to be more united for the future in order to survive as a nation. And third, our Senate definitely needs some reforms, because some stuff is not passing, and there is, as everyone knows, there is some big issues in the Senate. So I'm just focused on fixing that right now, and that's it.
All right, and that was your minute. Thank you very much. Um, and of course, the last person, as it was supposed to be, is Zombie. Um, so Zombie, your 1 minute begins now. Uh, I
Oh,
can't.
sorry, my microphone was muted.
All right, no worries.
Thank you for hosting this debate. The Imperial Federation already works. It has kept people connected, defended, and coordinated, and that matters. This election, though, isn't just about whenever the Federation can function. It's about whenever it can become more cohesive and trusted by its states. Our campaign is focused on strengthening cooperation between states, making membership in the IF tangibly valuable, and building legitimacy before expanding central power. Stability got us here. Cohesion is what carries us forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to get rid of any confusion, how is your state's name pronounced? Is it Carpathia?
Oh, it's so basically it's originally it's Carpathia. Okay, it's supposed to be pronounced Carpathia, but you can call it Carpathia. It will be much easier.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So thank you all. Thank you everyone for your opening statements. We will now move on to the first part of the debate, questions from me. So for my first question, I noticed that a fair number of you all have not announced your main policy goals, with the biggest exception being Asgear and Era, who have posted their platform in the candidacies announcement channel on the IF Discord server. So my question to everyone, except Era, at the moment, is what would be the highest policy priority for your administration if elected? Era, of course, will have the chance to give a 20-second rebuttal to this question after everyone else has responded. And the first person to go, it will be Gato Cat. And your 20 seconds will begin when you start speaking.
Okay, so if I was elected chancellor, the policy I'd focus on the most is probably new friend retention. We need to make sure the new friends are educated. We need to make sure they know what they're doing and that they're having fun on the server, because they're not going to stay around if they're not having fun. And we need new people to run the server when people leave. We need people to know what they're doing, know how to handle stuff, now to set up the rail networks if Asgir leaves.
All right, thank you
We
very
need to
much.
make sure that
Sorry, I think I'm having a premonition that the 20 seconds isn't going to be enough. If it's not going to be enough, I might add more time, but just for the sake of consistency for this particular question, I'll keep it down to 20 seconds for everyone. So, Zombie, you are next. Your 20 seconds begins now.
The priority is to unify states together into a much bigger system, rather than even states working separately from each other. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And to move on, Brain Goes Vincent, you are next. Your 20 seconds begins now.
All right, my main focus will be working directly with the senators to have economic reforms and help people open shops in our nation in the different states, so it's easier for everyone to get stuff. That's it.
All right, thank you. And the next person is Joel the Troll. Joel, your 20 seconds begins now.
Okay. A, direct citizen stimulus. We want to increase purchasing power and our economy, our economic activity. B, low barrier to business grants so people can start and expand their businesses. C, cash-based development incentives. So if somebody like makes X factory, they get Y rebate.
Thank you very much, Joel.
Liquidity for.
That was your time. And Era, would you like to give a 20-second rebuttal?
I will say I'm not rebuting anything, but I will say that Asgear and I are working as partners. We are not going to be focused on the same things. It's dividing and conquering. So there will be a lot of different priorities between the two of us.
All right, thank you very much. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add 20 seconds to each question. So it'll be 40 minutes for general questions, and for rebuttals, it'll go from 30 seconds to 50 seconds. Hopefully we'll be able to get through our. Oh, did I say 40 minutes? I meant seconds. I meant seconds. Sorry. Yeah, I'm adding 20 seconds to each question's like time allotment. So, it's okay. I'll tell you how much time you have, so it'll be, you don't have to like do the math in your head. All right. So question 2. My second question is also to everyone. It's about the economy. A number of our poll's respondents named we ran a poll regarding the issues that mattered to the folks who filled them out, and a number of our poll's respondents named the economy as an issue they care about. I spoke to one of those respondents of our polls, and they said that the IF economy is lacking in every aspect, though they did praise Head of Defense Burrito 185 for upkeeping the UR and XP exchanges. So my question to all the candidates is, what elements of the economy do you think need to be improved, and how will we go about improving them? The first person to answer the question will be Sambi, and his 40 seconds will begin when he speaks.
Okay, so I think the way we improve the economy is by become more centralized in terms of resources, where it'll be easier to purchase anything from New Callisto. The second way we can improve economy is through uh I'd like to take a break from this question. Thanks.
Oh, no worries then. We'll move on onto Brain Goes Vincent. Your 40 seconds begins now.
All right. As for the economy, in order to improve the economy, I believe that one of the things we can do is, like I said before, teach new people and people that have been here in the IF for a long time how to make and start their shops, and make them, maybe give them incentives to do it. That way we have a more centralized economy here, and maybe also open state sponsorships like the Ore Exchange and the XP Exchange. That way some of the gains from these shops go into the state, and we can use those funds for future projects, as for military or infrastructure.
Thank you very much. That was your 40 seconds. Joel the Troll, you are next. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Okay, so the biggest weakness in the economy right now is liquidity. Businesses, like people want to build businesses, people want to spend money, but money is stuck behind just hesitation from our government. Our solution is simple: a direct stimulus to individuals and uh, grants for businesses rolled out immediately after the election. When you put money into people's hands and remove barriers to using it, demand like the demand to spend it rises, and more stuff will just naturally come to the IF because people have more money to spend.
All right, thank you very much. And the next person is Era. Era, your 40 seconds begins now.
So we have a lot of different ways we want to improve the economy. A lot of them are already listed in our platform of establishing a routine for meteoric harvesting and actually having a primary source of funding for the government, so it does not rely on donations, and that way people can keep their own goods and supplies within their own ecosystem and states. But then also improving the XP and ore exchanges. Those are a vital point that are used every day. Hopefully we can use those to quickly like help people get back into mining and crop. Uh, one thing with that is we're hoping to overhaul the. I am not muted, by the way.
She is not, and
Just a
your
heads
40
up.
seconds is up. Thank
Yeah.
you. Gato Cat, you're the last one, so your 40 seconds begins now.
Okay, so I think one of the key things that we could do to improve the economy in the IF is more local XP production. So if we had more local XP production, it would allow us to completely we could move tool production completely within the IF, because at the moment a lot of the XP being used for tool production is coming from outside the IF because we can't produce bulk quantities. So if we could do that, we could get more wealth within the IF, and then we could use that in the government for grants to help new friends set up businesses, or to help start large state-funded businesses, and all that will eventually just bring more wealth into the IF by ensuring we can compete with the international market.
Thank you very much. So to answer Joe's question in the chat, rebuttals are going to be for questions that are asked to a particular individual. I do have some of the questions that are just directed at just one person, and people will then have a chance to reply to that. If we allowed for rebuttals where everyone got to, if we allowed for rebuttals for questions where everyone initially answers, we would be here way too long, I think. So I'm going to think and reflect a lot after this debate's over to like see what could be changed and improved for the next one. But yeah, bear with me all. Y'all are like my test subjects in a sense. So anyway, on to the third question. Oh, before I say my third question, I would just like to remind the audience that the audience members may raise their hand in this stage channel to be allowed to ask a question to the candidates. So please raise your hand and I will let you speak. So question 3, my third question, I'm going to be asking it directly to Joel. While we're on the topic of the economy, the next question is going to regard the Business Development Party. You mentioned you are running for the Business Development Party ticket, so I'm curious as to how your candidacy reflects your party's name. So while we're on the topic of the economy, how would a Joel the Troll chancellorship impact IF businesses? You mentioned stimulus packages or upon entering office. What will you do and how will you do it to develop businesses as your party name suggests? Your I believe 50 seconds. Yes, your 50 seconds begins when you start.
Okay, so a Joel the Troll administration, it's going to impact IF business by doing one thing extremely well. We're going to be putting money into circulation or into circulation. Businesses don't fail because of a lack of vision or effort or want. They fail because capital is locked up in the hands of the government when it could be better used in the hands of the people. Our plan is to deliver, well, like you said, our stimulus is low barrier funding to businesses so they can expand, hire, and produce immediately versus having to grind up and build themselves from scratch.
Thank you very much.
When businesses
Thank you very much. Sorry. Now, since that question was directed directly at Joel, if any of the candidates would like to make a rebuttal of around 40 seconds, please at me now in the chat, or at me now in the chat if you want to make a rebuttal. Going once, going twice. All right, Era, you have 40 seconds. Your 40 seconds begins now.
I'd want to point out that yes, it is important that we give people money and we actually support people to do business. It's very hard to say that it's all locked up in the government when the Senate has blocked some movement of funds. And then also, there's no bill currently passed to give funds directly to do grants or anything. So I believe that would have to be passed by the Senate first, or there would have to be a larger discussion with the country as a whole. So that will take some time, and it cannot happen immediately. That would be unwise and very reactionary, I believe. That's it.
Thank you. All right. So thank you. Moving on to the next question. The next question is regarding defense, and this is going to be asked to all the candidates. Before this, I'd like to ask a question about defense. Around a fifth of our polls respondents named the military or defense as an issue they most care about. So what elements of the IS defense or military do you think are not in tip-top shape? And what would you do about it if elected? The first person to respond to this question will be Brain Goes Binted. Your 40 seconds begins when you start talking.
All right, I will have to pass this question. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Joel, your question. Sorry, not your question. You're up. Your 40 seconds begins since.
I'm sorry, it cut out when you were asking the question. I asked you to type it, but you
Oh,
skipped, so I
yeah,
didn't have
sorry.
time to.
Let me just do that. My bad. All right.
I mean, you're more than welcome to. Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do that every single time now. Anyway, so yeah, your 40 seconds begins when you begin because Brain Goes Binted, he passed the question.
So I don't think that I think that an element of the IF's defense that we need to improve upon is the state's right to defend themselves, build their own defensive infrastructure on their own groups to protect their own shit. And I know there's a lot of worry behind this because of like Asgard, fucking people just using it to attack or like foreign threats using state infrastructure to attack ours. But I think it's just a very important thing to allow us to or allow the people to defend themselves as a whole.
Thank you. And I will turn it now to Era. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Part of the thing that we want to have is a more unified defense structure. Overall, the idea is that we need to actually expand the defense department, which we do not currently have. We have like the one head of department, but having the actual staff is not expanded upon and should be legislated properly. Uh, and hopefully then states can request people to have Obsidian stuff built and be on the same name layers and be properly managed instead of maybe states breaking off and just using their own defensive structure and splitting apart the IF more. A unified military is a way better one than just one state handling military.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna upon the suggestion of one of the audience members, I'm going to share my screen for the window where actually I've been keeping the timer. So hold on, just a moment. All right, can you all see it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, Godocat, your 40 seconds begins now.
Okay, so I think the main things we need to do with defense are we need to update the ice roads because at the moment they're in a pretty poor state. A lot of them are broken, a lot of them are just half done, and some of them have just not been used in so long that no one knows what name layer they're on. There's no point having all this defense infrastructure if no one can use it. So we need to get together and we need to actually sort out all the ice roads, sort out all the bunkers, make sure everything is finished, make sure everything is secure, because there's no point having loads of infra if no one uses it and if it's all in disrepair.
Thank you very much. So last on the list, Zombie, your 40 seconds begins now.
Currently, the problem is the fact that states are only focused on the fact that on their own military, and the current African military isn't actually as powerful as for example, the state of Floribus in terms of military. My focus would be on encouraging states into sharing military with the Imperial Federation. Thank you.
Thank you. So to move on to the next question, this question is for ERA specifically. As you all might expect, another issue that a number of our polls respondents gave was the Senate. Specifically, quite a number of them answered that they want Senate reform. So to ask ERA specifically, early last month you pushed for a constitutional amendment that would have reformed the Senate by adding in-game activity requirements for senators. As you know, the vote to ratify that amendment narrowly failed. What renewed efforts will you and Asgir make to reform the Senate, and importantly, how will you get senators to side with you on passing reforms? Your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
So I believe that we are currently working on writing a bunch of bills in proper formatting and also collecting a bunch of ideas and feedback we received from the last Senate rejection of the activity bill, including the fact that there should be exceptions made to various situations. However, it's always going to be difficult to pass bills in the Senate when people feel like it's attacking. We're not trying to attack anyone. We are just trying to make the Senate a better place. We also understand states have concerns about limiting what overall that they have control over, but there has to be some quality of a senator to be like regulated. Overall, Senate reform. So,
Thank you.
Side note, JP, I have to leave for a national emergency thing. I'll be back later, hopefully.
All right, no worries. Well, things happen. So, thank you for
Yeah.
attending. Of course, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we'll continue the debate. As it were, just without her. So. Sorry, my aunt stormed into my room and asked me something. Anyway, okay. So right, that was a question directed specifically to Era. Would anyone like at me if you would like to give a rebuttal? Going once. Going. Yeah, that's what I meant. Just let me know. Okay. So Joel went first. So Joel, you're fuck, I believe Yeah, your 40 seconds begins now. I don't think I hear you, Joel. Joel, you're muted.
Yeah, my fucking monitor black screen. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Like she said, limiting states' rights through the Senate I think, is how you slow everything down. Like, I'd like to quote somebody. So, like James Madison said, the powers delegated to the federal government are few and defined. Those that remain in the states should remain numerous and indefinite. States understand themselves better than a central body ever will. um, my low barrier economic stimulus will put the money in decision making at the state level, letting their local business and individual members uh, improve their economic status.
Thank you. Gotta Cat, you're next. You can rebut Joel. You're technically rebutting Era, but during these allotted times you can say whatever you want. So, I mean, yeah, your 40 seconds begins now.
I agree with Aaron on a lot of this, but I do think that some of the issue is that we've let senators in who are inactive. I think even if we try and redo it now, it's going to be really tough because a lot of senators have slipped through the cracks who are either completely inactive or they're inactive but still vote, because that bill that was going to introduce activity requirements, it failed because two senators didn't vote. Two inactive senators didn't vote, and them not being active stopped it being passed. So it's going to be very difficult, and I think it'll take a lot of effort now. I don't know if Erin knows what she's
Thank
gotten
you.
into.
All right. So to move on to the next question. The next question is also to do about the Senate, and to open the question up to everyone here instead of just Era. When senators debated that constitutional amendment to institute an in-game activity requirement, some senators uh, pushed back and claimed that it was an overreach of the federal government on the rights of states to choose their senators. So this question is for everyone. If you intend to reform the Senate, if elected, how will you do so without infringing on the rights of the states while ensuring the federal framework of government? And the first person up is Joel. Your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
Okay, so I don't feel like informing the Senate or like putting anything forward overrides states at all. I think that's kind of the point of the Senate, even if um, like you are telling them something that necessarily wouldn't be good for them or they don't agree with, they can vote opposite. It's the point of the Senate is to have a discussion about it. Um, I think in best practice, leaving the decisions and the implementation of them to the states is it's not going to change.
Thank you very much. The next person is, well, it was going to be Era, but Gadokat, your 40 seconds begins now.
So I think the states have got to take some responsibility because they're the ones who are choosing the senators. The IF has no say in who goes into the Senate directly. So I think we need to introduce some things that will make states actually think about who they're putting forward as senators. Because if a state could just put forward anyone as senator who's just going to put their view out there, they're not incentivized to choose someone who's active. There's no reason they would. They can use their active players on other stuff. They don't need to put them in the Senate. So I think we need to give the federal government a bit more control. The states have enough rights, but if the IF is to work, the states need to be controlled.
Thank you. The next person is Sambi. Your 40 seconds begins now.
So I'd like to say that we should make the states explain why they choose the senators, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last person is Brain Goes Minted. Your 40 seconds begins now.
All right, I do believe, like this, like Gato said, it is definitely a state's problem. It's not something the federal government can really fix if the states don't put work into it. Uh, mm, Something we have in Florida is we have a tier system regarding citizens. The most active citizens are tier 3 citizens, and those normally are the ones that get elected for senators. So if maybe states can implement a similar system to make sure that the senators they elect actually play the game.
Thank you. And to move on, oh, well, this question was going to be asked to Era. So to move on, there are this question is for everyone. There are several federal territories from Anne Arundel to Reyes, and there are many states in the IF that are rather small in population. This question is for everyone. How would your administration ensure that these regions of the IF are given the attention that they need just as much as larger populated regions? And the first person to go will be Garokat. Your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
I think the current system it works well because it gives larger states more representation, but I think it could be tweaked because a lot of the smaller states do fall by the wayside because they're lacking representation. So I think if we brought down the total number of senators, that would be quite a good measure to ensure that smaller states aren't just left behind, basically. Because at the moment, I think Flores has got 7 senators, whereas that's like the same number of senators as 7 smaller states. But those 7 smaller states aren't necessarily contributing a seventh of what Floribus is contributing. So I think if we brought down the total number of senators, so there's more senators representing the smaller states, that would do a
Thank
good
you.
job.
The next person is Zombie. Your 40 seconds begins now.
I'd like to pass the question. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Brain Goes Vinted. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Okay, I do think that's also a problem the states have to fix because if they don't have that many people, they have to encourage recruitment for their states or territories because you're not. It's not fair for the people that live in larger states that their opinion matters less than those from smaller states regarding population. You're giving way too much power to places that have less people than other places like Flores. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And the last person, Joel the Troll. Your 40 seconds begins now.
So I believe in a true federation. I don't think that states should be viewed as entities with power over one another depending on their population. I think that we should all be partners in governance. I don't think that well, I think we should all be equal in our voting power and our ability to make decisions in the government because that's what a federation is. It's a joined union of states.
Thank you. And just to remind the audience again, what was the message that I was going to remind the audience with again? Hold on. You can ask a question to the candidates. Just please raise your hand on this stage channel, and I'll allow you to speak and ask any question that you might have, so long as it is appropriate and relevant. Okay. So, to our next question is for Godokat. To linger on the topic of population, some IF states, such as Cambria and Hithel, are growing in number, but other states, namely Dahlem and Craftsburg, have seen precipitous declines in their active population to the point where they'll be losing senators in the next apportionment period this Sunday. My question for you is, as the senator of Craftsburg, at least according to the IF registrar, you've seen activity in your state decline. So, based on your experience, what would you do as chancellor to reverse the trend of some states losing population? And your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
Okay. Just to make it clear, I'm not really sure why I was appointed senator this term for Krasborg. I made it clear that I wasn't going to be active, but so I think what we need to do is we need to make sure the people in them are active because a lot of Krasborg just got burned out. They took on too much too fast. They tried to do everything, and in the end, nothing got accomplished. So I think this is not really something you can solve. It's just people will be ambitious, people will overestimate what they can do. But I think the IF just maybe they could distribute new friends to some of the states that are failing, but then if there's inactivity in them, you can't really do anything. I just don't think it's really solvable.
Thank you. And since that question was directed at GodoCat, does anyone want to give a 40-second rebuttal? Just say so in the chat if you would like to give a rebuttal. All right, Zombie, your 40 seconds begins now.
As a former leader of Krasberg, I actually know the issue. It was the fact it has to do with housing. People didn't have a place to live in, and there was issues where new friends live at. Even though Krasberg has access to 2 spawn points now, they've stopped recruiting for this exact reason. So the reason, the way we avoid this is literally through having access to housing and having entertainment for new friends. That's it. That's the only solution. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just realized that I gave GodoCat less time than he should have had. Oh, well, Gado, would you like to have 10 seconds to say anything else?
Can I rebuke Zombie in those 10 seconds?
Your 10 seconds begins now, yes.
Krasberg tried to do too much. There would have been enough houses, but there was too much legislation. Nothing got built. Everyone got bored. Everyone got left, burned out.
All right, thank you. Next person is Joel, who wanted to give a rebuttal. Your 40 seconds begins now.
First, I want to respond to the Gatto's answer. Burnout is definitely not an unsolvable problem. I think we can. I think Demo has done a great job this period of chancellery as the head of culture as far as doing events, and I think by bring forward more of those on the state level when you have that much a population, but on the federal level will decrease burnout because it's fun. And housing, I mean, you just it's Minecraft. You build a house. I mean, there shouldn't be too much barrier to entry.
Thank you. And oh, Era's back. Look at that. All right, Era is back. How nice. Welcome back, Era. All right. Let me get back. All right. So, Era, you kind of joined right when we were done with the questions. So, you'll be involved for this upcoming question. This one is going to be asked actually from the audience. The first audience question. Look at that. Das Bryn. I hope you're pronouncing your name correctly, but please go ahead and you're given the speaker role. Please ask your question, and please also specify who you're asking it to. You can speak, by the way. You don't have to type it out if you'd like. Okay, no worries. I'll read it out for you. Okay, so the question that they'd like to ask, and this to all the candidates, is there have been concerns regarding efforts from some of the candidates to deter citizens from utilizing the judicial system, which raises important questions about fairness and access to justice. What specific steps will you take to ensure that all citizens feel their rights are protected, regardless of state size or personal and political preferences? And let me determine who will answer that question first. Let's just go based off of the order of the previous question. So, Era, you're up. Your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
Can I be pushed to the end? There's some things I need to reply to still regarding the other things. I'm sorry.
Sure. GodoCat then. You're up. Your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
This might be an odd view, but I think the judiciary should just be separate from politics. I don't think politics should have a sway. So if I was chancellor, I wouldn't touch the judiciary, but I'd try and make sure that the people who are running it are not just doing it for their political gain or for their gain, because you should be able to go to the judiciary, whatever the issue is. If it's an issue with your senator and they've done something you think is against the Constitution, if it's an issue with someone from your state, you should be able to go there no matter what. There shouldn't be any barriers. So I'd like to try and make it a bit more easy for citizens to raise cases if they think their rights are being infringed, because we need to protect their rights.
Thank you. Moving on, we have Zombie next. 40 seconds. Your 40 seconds begins now.
I agree with Gato on the fact that it should be separate. Thank you. Let me reiterate. Politics separate from judicial, however you spell it. Say it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. The next person is going to be. It's going to be Brain Goes Minted. Your 40 seconds begins now.
I will have to skip the question because I don't believe it's actually a matter for chancellors to work on this. It's more working together between the senators and the judges.
Thank you. Joel, you're next. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Access to the judicial, or access to the justice system is non-negotiable. Like it's how people can keep higher powers in check. The book of law is just the only thing that stops people from doing whatever the fuck they want. The right of due process is super important for the trust of everybody in the government. That courts are fair and neutral, that anybody can seek justice when they've been wronged. It's the way we keep the whole federation stable.
Thank you. All right, Era, you're last. So your 40 seconds begins now.
I'm going to say that overall, it is very important that people are able to do court cases as needed to address laws and address issues that are coming up and make sure that criminals are caught and all those sorts of things. Correct, but I also think that abusing the court system. So, for example, we barely had a judge. We don't even have a judge applied for a citizen judge right now because there are some cases that just end up being people throwing nothing burgers at each other. We should make sure that the judges feel like they're respected, but then also the cases are well formed and actually have a
Thank you.
defendant and such.
Thank you. All right. We have another question from the audience, and I'll go ahead and ping Joel just to make sure that he knows where we are. All right. So, a question from Maya. Okay. She asks, to all the candidates, what are your views on the practice of new player, quote unquote, hoarding among states? Do you believe it is justified for states to retain new players primarily to maintain activity and population, or should new players be encouraged to spread out among states that best fit their interests, playstyle, and long-term engagement? All right. Let me see how we'll go. We'll go with Gato Cat first. Your 40 seconds begins when you begin. Gato Cat? I don't think I can hear you.
Hello? Oh, no,
Yes.
sorry. Is this the question from Maya?
Yes.
Okay. So I think new player hoarding, as you call it, it's bad, and we do want them to be put in states where they'll enjoy it, where they're doing something they want to do. But the current system incentivizes just keeping new friends at any cost. It doesn't care if the new friends are enjoying it. It doesn't care if it's benefiting the IF. It just cares about how many primary citizens are there. So I think it is a bad practice, and it does need to stop. But I can't really see it stopping in the current system, and you'd have to have some really big reform to change it. You'd probably have to remove the senators being decided by the number of primaries, or introduce something where they're only counted as a primary after a few weeks, maybe.
Thank you. And the next person is Zombie. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Okay, can you hear me? Nice.
Yes.
So a system where a new friend is sorted to the state that suits them best. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Brain Goes Binted. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Well, regarding praying hoarding, I do believe it's justified for states to bring in new players and try to train them as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, the first state they join is the one that's going to teach them everything they're going to be doing for the future. I do not believe, though, that it's justified to keep them in your state against their own will, because we don't practice slavery here in the IF. We are a free country, and we have to respect each other's decisions to go to wherever we want to be playing at.
Thank you. And Joel, you are next. Your 40 seconds begins now.
Okay, I don't believe that anybody hoards new players. I think they earn them. Players should be able to feel free to go to whatever state they choose to. Not letting them do that will just burn them out, piss them off. Um, States that offer the community and are putting in the effort to grow are going to. Um, the role of leadership or the role of the chancellor isn't to trap players in a certain state just for the sake of fairness. It's to
Thank you.
make all. Oh,
Thank you. Era, you are up. You have your 40 seconds begins now.
To some degree, I agree with Joel. The people in states that want to recruit need to more heavily recruit. And I like there's plenty of people willing to encourage or teach them how they do recruiting. For example, we have recently even released a guidebook specifically on like how do you introduce someone new to the IF, and people are feel free to take information and experience from that. Um, Besides that, though, yeah, chancellors can't decide where people go. It would be unfair. It's not allowed. And generally, the people that do get recruited to certain big states, those people also go out to the other states and other countries and stuff, but well trained.
Thank you. Sorry. All right. This is going to be the last question. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting to the second part of this debate because almost an hour has already passed. That's probably because I gave more time for each question. I'll be reflecting on all of this for the next debate to make the necessary tweaks and whatnot. But this will be the last question. It is from Demo. If I can find it, if I can fucking find it. Okay. I'm assuming that these are all to that this question is to all the candidates. Um, how would you focus on culture and work on developing culture? That is to say, i.e., events and stuff. We'll turn it to Brain Goes Vinted. Your 40 seconds begins when you begin.
All right, we'll definitely try to make more IF wide events to invite people, either parties or events where we hear the people to know their political concerns regarding the state or the Senate. Because as of now, the only couple occasions we get together from as one from different states is either on Senate meetings or when the chancellor gets decided and they have that meeting in New Callisto where they let us know who was elected as the chancellor. So I do think we need more IF state
Thank you.
activities.
The next person is Joel. Your 40 seconds begins now.
yeah, I think we should allocate a little bit more money, just to like pay people to set shit up. Um, for example, like building Deluvia's got snow, build a spleef arena. Um, some stuff would be too expensive, but like we could do chicken fishing, mob arena kind of might be a little too expensive. Just activities that people actually want to come out and just play and have fun.
Thank you. Era, you are next. 40 seconds begins now.
I guess that's more of a question for the head of community and culture, right? Because so demo cough cough, that's kind of you. But at the same time, like the chancellor, as a chancellor, like we hosted the Senate meeting, which I think went really well, and quite a people showed up to that. We hope to do that again. And then also just generally, if there's ways to like bring the politics into game and to make it more interactive, for example, whenever elections are like released, those should be in game having a party. Those should be fun. Those should be active. They shouldn't just be us sitting at a Discord call.
Thank you. The next person is Gato Cat. Your 40 seconds begins now.
I think it would be very good if we could get some more funding, especially to the Department of Culture, because I know in the last term Demo's had to fund a lot of things himself because he's not been able to pass things. So if we did get a bit more funding, maybe we could do some federation-wide activities, get everyone playing some hockey, get involved in a game of tag across an entire state, get some fun activities going that people are going to enjoy, that are going to make them want to stay on the server. But I don't think we could just chuck it all on the head of culture. The chancellor has to give them something to work with. We've got to give them some money. We've got to give them some resources so they can do cool stuff.
Thank you. The last person will be Zombie. Your 40 seconds begins now.
So 3 bullet points. First of all, more events. Second of all, more funds. Third of all, complexes for using the events, where you can host the events. We can use national parks for that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Hopefully we're 5 minutes till 8:30 EST, and I did promise the candidates that this would be an hour at most. So we will move on to the last part. Well, not the second part, but the last part, which is of course the closing statements. Um, we will go in the opposite order from the one that we went in for opening statements. So we will start with Zombie. Your 1 minute begins when you begin.
Okay. The Imperial Federation stands at a turning point. We can continue managing what already exists, or we can take steps to build a federation that states actively believe and invest in. Our goal is simple: a stronger, more united Imperial Federation built on cooperation, trust, and shared purpose. Thank you for your time and for this taking this election seriously.
Thank you. The next person is going to be old Era. You have 1 minute, which begins now. Sorry.
Overall, I hope that everyone learned a lot from this and about each candidate. Hopefully, Asgear can talk more about his perspectives and what priorities he has. I'm hoping to keep maintaining a lot of the things that were there during my chancellorship of the exchange being updated and such, but also hoping that we can bring more focus over to the military and making sure the government funding isn't based off of government companies, but then also the infrastructure, rail maintenance, etc., etc. A lot of the things that Asgear is really good at, and hopefully with some of my documentation skills and some of the other things I'm able to do, make a good party. That's it.
All right. Thank you. And Battlecat, you are next. Your 1 minute begins now.
So I think at this time we got to work together. There's no point everyone getting divided because if we do that, nothing's going to get accomplished. We've got to make sure that whoever wins, someone's going to win, and there are a lot of good candidates here. They know what they're doing, so everyone, to the citizens, do your research, look at what the candidates are doing, make sure it's something you believe in, and if you've got ideas you want to see, message them, message your senator, and get your senator to put them in the Senate, get your senator to message the chancellor, get your senator to message the candidates so that the change you want to see actually happens, because no change is going to happen if no one knows what you want. The best way to get the change is to make sure people want that change. But yeah, we need to work together. We need to get the states more involved in the IF. Need to do some more fun activities, and just need to make sure everyone has a great time and has fun.
Thank you. And the next person is Brain Goes Minted. Your 1 minute begins now.
All right. I think we all agree that this was a good discussion, and everyone make fair points about the issues in the IF and how they plan on fixing them. So I expect that the people learn on each candidates on what they're planning on doing. And well, I personally think, like I tried to put as a point before, we really need to focus on getting more shops from residents in the IF, well, citizens, and also state-sponsored shops in order to be able to have more infrastructure and military infrastructure. That's all.
Thank you. And finally, Joel, your minute begins now.
To reiterate, I believe in a true federation. I think the power, it starts with the individual. Uh, it's then flows through the state and then only reaches the center of our government when absolutely necessary. I think people thrive when they're trusted, not managed, and that states function best when they're empowered to do things on their own and not overridden by the government. My focus will be on protecting individual rights, restoring state autonomy, and removing the friction that burns people out and drives inactivity. I think as the government, we should set clear boundaries, defend fairness, and then get the fuck out the way. That philosophy also applies to the economy. I support a limited but low barrier stimulus after the election for everybody.
Thank you. I'm sorry to say, but that looks like that'll be it for this debate. Thank you everyone for your closing statements. That concludes tonight's Chancellor debate. I and the Diamond Chronicler would like to thank each of the candidates again for showing up to this event, along with the generous sponsors for this event. We'd also like to thank all our audience members, especially those who asked interesting questions tonight. After the stage event officially ends, there will be sometime today or tomorrow a poll posted on this Discord server asking who you believe won tonight's debate and which candidate you'd vote for Chancellor. So stick out for all of that. For the candidates as well, I will also be putting out like a questionnaire of how you thought of what you thought of the debate and like what could be improved for next time and whatnot. And with all that said, I have to be getting going soon. So I've been your host, JPS.me. This has been the January 2026 Chancellor debate. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Thank you, and at least from the EST time zone, good night.